A white paper is a document released by government that outlines their policies for the course of the year relative to that issue. So in this instance, it's a white paper focused on housing issues. So this housing white paper addresses the prevalent issues to problems in the housing market. It's addressing issues such as greenbelt, local authority policy, also house builders and the steps that they're taking to improve supply and speed up the building process. There's been quite a wide spectrum of attitude towards this white paper, verging from, on the one hand, it being a complete waste of time, to the other hand, to it being quite a good, accurate document addressing a lot of the issues facing the housing market at this time. The government seem to have identified the main problems and issues facing the housing market, and they are taking steps to addressing them. However, some would argue that they're not going far enough and that this is a cursory document that doesn't go into any detail. But at least I think the view is held that they have identified where the problems are. Now it's a question of just getting on and dealing with them. Well, I think the issues can be broken down into three areas. Firstly, planning, secondly, house building, and finally, bureaucracy. So firstly, in terms of planning applications are taking far too long, and there is a resistance by local authorities to granting consents. So this is very frustrating for house builders. We can't get planning consents, they are becoming more difficult and they're taking longer and as a result costing a lot more money to take forward. The second issue is house building itself. There is a chronic shortage of materials and labour in the marketplace. So even if the house builders are getting more consents, they're struggling to build the houses. They can't buy bricks, they can't get skilled labour. So this is choking the system as well. And finally, the bureaucracy. We're finding that planning applications, there's too much detail required in order to gain consent, and also there's too much bureaucracy in the construction of houses. We have to meet higher and higher regulations that sometimes are losing sight of the basic ability or the basic need to build a simple house. Yes, we're all in favour of more environmentally friendly houses and more ecologically friendly houses, but there comes a balance, and I think we've overstepped that balance and we need to address that. What I'd like to see happen is that whilst the white paper has allowed local authorities to invest or raise fees to invest in their planning departments, I'd like to see that led by central government, that they invest in more planners and better planners in the public sector. Greenbelt is a hot topic, and the government white paper has addressed in part this issue. They've made it quite clear, in their view, the greenbelt is sacrosanct. So perhaps what we need to look at is some sort of central government review of the greenbelt. It was introduced in the 1950s, and it could be argued that it is choking some of the large urban areas like London, Manchester, Birmingham from future expansion. So I think it's fair to say that there should be some review of greenbelt. However, the government has been clear, they are going to keep it sacrosanct, and this isn't a concern really for Intra-Crowd, because we don't look for land in the greenbelt area. We're looking for land that is not constrained and is adjacent to the urban environment. So I'm not too worried about this. I don't think our investors should be worried about it, and it is something that will be resolved in the next parliamentary period. The white paper's been very positive, and there are some very positive steps in there that help the likes of Intra-Crowd. Local authorities are going to receive or going to be able to raise further funds and channel those into their planning departments, and they're going to have a more standardised approach to counting housing numbers. So this is all good for seeing faster and smoother planning applications. We'd like to see more, but the steps so far have been positive. So there's little of concern in the white paper for Intro Crowd, we can see that the sites that we're targeting are edge of settlement, highly sustainable sites, will come through in the fullness of time.